ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಥಂಡರ್ಬೋಲ್ಟು HDMI.
ಇದೊಂದು ಥಂಡರ್ಬೋಲ್ಟ್ ಬೇರೆ.
ಥಂಡರ್ಬೋಲ್ಟು HDMI ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೀನೋಟನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ, ಕೀನೋಟನ್ನು ಟಿ ವಿ ಅದು ಜಿ ಪಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ್ಯನಿಮೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು
ಥಂಡರ್ಬೋಲ್ಟ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು.
ಥಂಡರ್ಬೋಲ್ಟು HDMI ಕನ್ವರ್ಟರ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಸಪ್ರೇಟು.
ಅದಿದೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಔಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದು
ಎಕ್ಸಸೈಸ್.
ಮಿರರ್ ಮಾಡಿ HDMI
ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ.
ನಂದು ಇದು
ಅದು ನಿಮ್ದಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ
ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ಸ್ ಮೌಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್. Connected. Okay. Check what is this.
ನೋಟಿಫೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಓಪನ್ ಆ್ಯನಿಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮದು ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ಇದೆ, ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲ ಪವರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲ ಪಿ ಪಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಫ್ ಸಿ ಪಿ ನಾವು ಮನೆ ಹಾಂ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಇದೆ ಇದು.
ಪೆನ್ ಪೆನ್ ಟಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಏನು ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು?
ಹಾಂ, ಕಲರ್
ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕುಡಿ ಬಿಡಿ.
ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ, ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಹಾಂ, ಕಿರ್ಚೋದು ಆದರೆ ಕಿರ್ಚ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಓಡಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಟು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಬೇಕಾ ಸರ್, ಲ್ಯಾಪಲ್? ಅದೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಕೊಡಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಹಾಂ, ನನಗೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸು
STEM education is very important to the mankind, like the water we drink, air we breathe. We need STEM education to create a critical thinker, problem solvers, innovators, and economy drivers. Good morning, everyone. I, Manjula S., Department of Computer Science, National College, Bangalore. I know that today's session will be a very fruitful session on Cyberlaws in India. We have our dear colleagues and students in this occasion. I welcome you all for this wonderful session. Now, I request my dear colleague, Professor Chandana, to introduce our guest to this gather.
A very good morning, everyone. I, Professor Chandana, from Department of Computer Science, National College, Jayanagar. I'm pleased to introduce the speaker of today's session, Dr. Muralidhar BL, Professor and Coordinator, Department of Computer Science, Bangalore University. Dr. Muralidhar has served as a reader for 10 years in Bangalore University. He has awarded the PhD from Bangalore University. Earlier, he worked as a lecturer in Hyderabad Central University. His area of interest is parallel processing, bioinformatics, e-governance, and cyber law. The speaker has enriched the academia with his innumerable articles and research papers in various national and international journals. He is a research guide for PhD students as well. We are happy to mention that Dr. Muralidhar is a meritorious alumnus of National College, Baswangudi. I now call Dr. Muralidhar sir to deliver the speech on cyber laws in India. Can we have you, sir?
Thank you very much, the National College, Jayanagar. I think I always enjoy being part of this great institute. And when I got a call from one of the retired professors of this organization, and then I had to say yes. Now I have no other option. Not because I've been invited, I don't want to miss a single chance to come to any one of these institutes, whether it could be Jayanagar, Basavangudi, or Bagyapalli, or any other institute. I always would like to be part of this great institute. If at all, if I'm standing before you, it's because of this institute and because of HM. And I think we always owe a lot to our dearest HM. He's there among us, so it's a privilege. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. I've always been talking about cyber law, basically because I just want to educate people on cyber law. So what we'll try to do is that we will take some case studies. Probably I think one case study I might repeat it from the previous year's session. But I don't mind repeating it because I think it helps many of us in understanding what it takes to learn cyber law and cyber security. Broadly, we will look at some of the aspects of cyber law in India, and then we will look at the problems with handling any of these cases. Right. I always mention this case which happened in 2017. I think I was going in a car from my house, from my office to my residence. Then I got a call. I got a call from one of my friends. I thought that is one of my friends, and then he introduced himself as Michael Levitt, police inspector, sub-inspector. Then I was thinking that it's one of those friends who are trying to play around. And then I just asked him again, are you sure that you are Michael Levitt police station sub-inspector? And then he did say, yes, I'm Michael Levitt police sub-inspector, and then I expect you to depose yourself immediately to this police station. It was around 6:30 in the evening. Then I did not believe him, and then all of a sudden he opened his radio, and then I could hear the radio, and then I realized, yes, he is the sub-inspector of Michael Levitt police station, happened in Bangalore in 2017. I said, okay, I understand that you are the sub-inspector of Michael Levitt police station, but I can't come now. It's already 6:30, and then it will take 2 hours for me to come to your Michael Levitt police station, so I don't want to travel now. Probably I think I'll come and depose myself before you tomorrow. Then I also asked him, what is my offense? And why are you calling me? And then he said, you have tried to create a Facebook account, and then you are harassing a girl. I said, okay. I said, okay, I'll come and talk to you tomorrow morning. So I religiously went and then deposed myself before the sub-inspector at 9:30. Then he made me wait for some time, and then fortunately for me, the victim was also present there. And then he said, please tell me, why are you doing this without giving me any proof? And I said, what did I do? And then he told me that you have created a Facebook account of this person, and then you have uploaded semi-nude photographs of her. Not only that, you have also given her phone number. Then I asked the victim, do I know you? And then the victim said, no, I don't know you. We didn't know each other. We didn't know each other, and we don't know who she was, and she doesn't know who I am. But the inspector kept on saying that you are the one who did it. Then I kept on saying that I did not do it. And then finally he gave me a chit. And then he told me, look, your name is written on this chit. Are you Muralidhar? I said, yes. Are you working for Bangalore University? I said, yes. Is this your mail ID? I said, yes. Is this your phone number? I said, yes. Whatever information which he had on that chit was all correct. And then he told me that this is the chit which we got it from or this is a report rather, I don't want to call it as a chit. This is a report which we got it from cyber police station, and then it clearly says that for this particular case, you are responsible. And then I took some time and then I said, can I have a look at that particular report? And then I took that report and then I read through that report. And then it clearly says, it gives me all the details. And then it says that whoever has created that account was from 4 IP addresses. 4 IP addresses. And then it was saying that these 4 IP addresses belong to Bangalore University. The 4 IP addresses belong to Bangalore University. So the National Knowledge Network had given us 1 Gbps lease line because somebody has to maintain this National Knowledge Network lease line. I was IT head at that point in time, so they put my name, my mobile number, my email ID, and my all details. Then I took a lot of time to actually make him understand that, look, I am not the one who has created. The report says, basically, this particular Facebook account has been created from an IP addresses which belongs to Bangalore University, and being a head of IT in Bangalore University, my name figures here. And then after some time, I could convince him that it was not me who has created that account. Then finally he gave me some time. He said, okay, you take some time and please let me know who is the culprit. I felt very sad for the victim, and then I said, okay, I promised her that we will get back to her with proper details. Went back to my department and wrote a long letter to the Vice Chancellor describing him about the whole scenario. And then I told him that this matter has to be taken immediately. And then Vice Chancellor was also very keen to solve this problem. He called all the responsible officials of Bangalore University and then asked them to furnish the details as quickly as possible. But by the time we started actually collecting the information, it was too late. It was almost 6-7 months from the time the incident happened. So we did not have any proper records. We had not stored the data. So I had to again write back to the inspector saying that, look, we don't have any of those data. We're extremely sorry that we will not be able to help you out. But the whole incident taught us great lessons. It made us actually store all our data, which is mandatory from the point of view of the IT Act. IT Act 2000-2008 clearly says that whoever is managing a network, they have to store the data for at least the data of 3 months. So therefore, it was very important for us to store the data of those 3 months. So this is one such incident which happened in Bangalore University. Interestingly, on that report, it also said non-cognizable case. It was a non-cognizable case. The inspector was threatening me that he would arrest me immediately. But anybody who has a slight idea of this cognizable and non-cognizable case, he would have not been able to arrest me without giving me sufficient time. So this has definitely taught us some lessons. Now let's look at the statistics of National Crime Record Bureau. Are you able to see this slide? Right. Projectors. Right, okay. Right, so if you look at this National Crime Record Bureau statistics, 2020 is the latest statistics. So 2020 statistics gives us the statistics of 2019. So in 2017, there were 21,593 cases registered cybercrime cases. In 2018, it grew up to 27,004. And in 2019, it's whoppingly 44,395 cases registered in 2019 alone in India. But we should also know many of the cases are not even registered. IT Act alone has cases of 44,395 is a very, very large number. But this is not a major surprise. What surprises is that what is the motivation behind any of these cyber crimes? The motivation among these 44,000 cases, 28,000 or roughly around 27,000 cases are related to fraud. People want to earn money. So basically, they use this, they exploit their cyberspace to earn money. So 27,000 cases roughly are related to fraud. And around 2,266 cases are for sexual exploitation. And then prank also, it's not a small number, it's around 1,400 cases. So other motivations like anger, political motivations, and terrorist activities, they don't contribute much, but even then, they are at a very large number. So what we need to understand here is that the fraud is the basic thing or motivation behind any of the cyber crimes in India. Now, out of this, if I look at the National Crime Record Bureau statistics again, only 9,200 cases where police have registered charge sheet. So only 9,200 cases, in only 9,200 cases. And how many cases are pending even now? It's around 53,000. 53,000 cases are pending. Police have filed a charge sheet only for 9,000 cases. So this 52,000 cases, among these 52,000 cases, roughly around 30,000 cases or 25,000 cases will be carried forward to 2020. And then from there, some more cases will be carried forward. So the pending percentage is 69%. 69% of the cases are pending in the year 2019. So police are unable to solve these cyber crime cases. So that's the underlining thing. If we are disappointed with this 69%, we will be disappointed even further with these statistics, again from National Crime Record Bureau statistics of 2020. So out of 27,000 total cases, which out of 50,000 cases, the total cases which are on trial are around 28,000. And then cases are either compounded or compromised are only 244 cases. And then how many gets convicted? Around 300. Around 300 out of 50,000 cases gets a conviction. And then cases disposed is around 1,500 cases, which is very meager. Pending for trial, almost 26,000. And pending percentage is 95% of the cases. So if there are cyber crime cases in the court, 95% of the cases in 2019 are pending. So what I'm trying to tell is that it's very difficult for even to police to investigate, and then police are not giving enough evidences to the judiciary for any kind of trial or for any kind of disposing the cases. So that's where it's a problem. Around 65% of the cases in the police are pending, and around 95% of the cases are pending before the court of law in India. So this is where we stand. So that's why one has to learn cyber law, and one has to understand cybersecurity. Now, Bangalore stands number 1 in India with 10,555 cases. The second one being Mumbai with 2,500 cases. After 50,000 cases, or after 40,000 odd cases registered in 2019, 10,000 cases are from Bangalore. 10,500 cases are Bangalore. So 25% of the cases are only from Bangalore, not from Karnataka. It's only from Bangalore alone. The second one being Mumbai with a distant second one with 2,500 cases. So we are very vulnerable for any kind of cyber crimes or cyber security problems. Now, this is a recent 1-year-old report because I think the report is also based on the report of National Crime Record Bureau. So it says, it's in Prajavani, which was published in Prajavani. It says, Kaiga sigada cyber kadimara karamatu. It's very difficult for anybody to find the cyber criminals. So that's the problem. And then it also says this, that as I was telling, that in 2016, this is a Bangalore's report. Out of 7,747 cases reported, the charge sheet was filed only for 75 cases. Only for 75 cases, 1%. And then conviction rate is also 1%. In 2017, the number is reduced, 2,600 or 2,700. The conviction rate is, charge sheet is much better. But in 2019, the report says that out of 10,500 cases, charge sheet is not filed for any of those cases, and none of them are caught. So that's the basic problem here. So it also says that the criminals are not ordinary criminals because they learn new techniques, and then they are there to actually cheat people to the maximum extent. And then the only solution which we can perhaps say is to protect ourselves, right? But that's not the only solution, but we should be definitely protecting ourselves. This is the second incident which I'm trying to quote here. This happened in Bangalore again. This person who is called Dilip Kumar, who's from Madhya Pradesh, who had come to Bangalore for studies. Now, he and his other person, girlfriend, was very close. They were very close. And then they were staying in Bangalore for some time. And then this person went back to Madhya Pradesh, and then he got a job in Bangalore. He comes back, and then he loses his job and then goes back to Madhya Pradesh. So when he goes back to Madhya Pradesh, this girl starts getting some kind of vague messages saying that I have a video of you taking bath. So if you don't give me 3 lakh rupees, I will upload this video in social media. And then girl ignored the whole thing because it was from an unknown person. It was from an unknown mobile number. It was from an unknown mail ID. So the girl ignored, and after some time, he actually sent that video. And later, the girl understood that this is the person who has actually taken the video from a hidden camera in his house. So girl complained to the police station, and then because police could track the number, they went to Madhya Pradesh and then caught him, and then he was put behind the bars. So these are some of the cases which we see success. But what I'm trying to say here is that the girls are more vulnerable, the women are more vulnerable for any of these cybercrime activities. Now, I'll give you the third case, which is very interesting for any academics. Again, one of my friends called me and then he told me that some girls wants to meet you in your house for some cyber security issue. I said, okay. And then three girls came to my house. Then one of the girls, one of the ladies, told me that she actually is being harassed by a guy. And then she told me about the whole incident. The person is actually became friends with Facebook. They became friends and I've changed the name. Let's call her name as Pushpa. And then the Ravi became Facebook friends with Pushpa. So Ravi and Pushpa became Facebook friends. How did they become Facebook friends? Because they had a common friend called Suma. So I've changed the name. So they had a common friend called Suma. So Suma was friends with Ravi. So therefore Facebook gave a notification saying that you may know this person. I hope probably I think many would have experienced this. Facebook gives you some kind of notification and it says that you may know this person. Right, it's very interesting to know how exactly Facebook identifies that you may know this person. Somehow because they had a common friend and then Pushpa got a notification saying that you may know Ravi. So then they became friends and then they started chatting through a messenger app. And then finally Ravi started, after some time, Ravi started harassing Pushpa by sending semi-nude photographs. And then he also started threatening her, saying that I will also tell your husband about the whole incident. And that's when she came to me. And then somehow we could convince her and then me and my wife, we could tell her and we could ask her to go and then register a complaint in a police station. So she went and then registered this case in a police station. She went to a police station and then registered a complaint after pursuing the matter. And then after some time, Pushpa comes back to me and then says that I want to talk to you about this incident again. I said, okay. And then she comes back to me again. And then she says she knows who is the person who has actually was sending this kind of messages. And I asked her, who is that person? And then she told me that Suma is the one who is actually sending these messages. Suma had created a fake Facebook account in the name of Ravi. So Suma created a Facebook account in the name of Ravi. Suma became friends with Ravi. And Ravi started sending messages to Suma. And who is this Suma? Suma is actually Pushpa's cousin. Pushpa's cousin. Suma is Pushpa's cousin. They had some family dispute and then that's why she wanted to harass her. And where is Suma now? Suma is in England. And that's when Pushpa came and then told, should I pursue or should I take back my case? I said, please don't take back the case. If you take back the case, then people will think that you are actually protecting the criminal. Don't take back the case. You pursue the case, let the police find who is the culprit. If they can't find, it's okay. If they find that Suma is the culprit, and if you are trying to protect, then the case will be against you. So therefore, I think she kept quiet. This case is still unsolved. So you can see how people find new ways in actually getting into any of these criminal activity, basically for harassing and basically for many such things. Now, when she came to give a complaint, the first question which came in her mind is that where should she go and then give a complaint? Should I go and meet the cyber police station, police officials to lodge a complaint, or where should she go and give a complaint? I'll give you another incident which happened in Gnan Bharati police station. Now, I had a circle inspector who was working for Gnan Bharati police station. Now, any circle inspector will have its circle. So, his jurisdiction was Gnan Bharati, and adjacent area was Rajarajeshwari Nagar. Then we went to have right. So we went to have tea, and then we were having tea in his car, and then all of a sudden he got a phone call saying that there is some crime which has happened adjacent to Rajarajeshwari Nagar's police station. So it was somewhere in the borders between Gnan Bharati police station and Rajarajeshwari Nagar. The first thing the police inspector asked, you please to that the other police fellow, please find out whether that road comes to Gnan Bharati police station or Rajarajeshwari police station. If it comes to Rajarajeshwari police station, he need not worry, because there is a jurisdiction. That's the circle. And finally, that fellow says that, no, sir, this comes to Gnan Bharati police station. So he had to rush back to that particular crime scene, and then he had to take care of that case. But what is the jurisdiction for cyber crimes? Now, that's the question which one needs to ask. Let's assume that the culprit is in Mumbai. Let's assume that the victim is in Bangalore, and let's assume that the crime scene is in Hyderabad. Let's assume that the crime happened in Hyderabad. So where should victim go and then file a complaint? Should she go to Mumbai to lodge a complaint? Should she go to Hyderabad? Or can she file a complaint in Bangalore? Now, because you cannot draw any kind of line, a jurisdiction in any of these cyber crime cases, it's very difficult for her to go to Mumbai or Hyderabad. So what she can do is that she can go and then file a complaint to any of the nearest police station. If I am in Basveshwar Nagar, I can go and then give a complaint in Basveshwar Nagar. If I am in Jayanagar, I can go and then give a complaint near Jayanagar police station. So that police station has to necessarily lodge a complaint. So she can go to nearest police station and then she can lodge a complaint. So that's the jurisdictional issue when it comes to cyber crimes. Now, we very well understand this case. He's the chief of Karnataka State Police in 2015. He lost 12,000 rupees due to online phishing scam. How did he lose? He was in a meeting and then he got a call. He got a call saying that his credit card will be renewed. And then the other person asked for his credentials. The other person asked for phone number, the credit card number, his date of birth and CVV number and so on and so forth. And this police inspector is the chief of he was the chief of Karnataka State Police. Then he gave all the details. The moment he gave all the details, 12,000 rupees was debited from his account and it was credited to somebody else's account. Since he being the chief of police and people could find it. But it's not very easy to find in your money in any case. It's very, very difficult to get back your money. Because suppose if the amount is credited outside India, then this the police has to report it to Cyber Emergency Response Team of India. That Cyber Emergency Response Team of India has to interact with Cyber Emergency Response Team of some other country, and then they have to interact and then get back the money. So it's very difficult. Another case which I would like to quote here is Bangalore University former Vice Chancellor, who was also the former Vice Chancellor of Gadag University, Karnataka State Rural Development University. He lost 69,000 for online phishing, online phishing scam. How did he lose this money? Again, somebody called him, then asked him to give the numbers of credentials of his card. He gave the credentials of his card. Not only that, he also gave the OTP. OTP of not only his transaction, but also his daughter's transaction. So he lost 69,000. He could never get back his amount. Now, another case, another case. It was happened in Nelmangla 1.5 years ago. 1.5 years ago in Nelmangla, somebody had to transfer 25,000 because to his relative. 25,000 rupees he has to transfer. He transferred through Google Pay. 25,000 rupees he transferred through Google Pay. And then the beneficiary did not receive it. Because sometimes it happens, no? You paid, but the beneficiary does not actually receives it. The amount is debited from your account, but it is not credited to your beneficiary. What happens? Maybe within 24 hours it comes back to you, saying that the transaction failed and then you will get back your money, so you will get it. Because it was an emergency case, the beneficiary did not get it, so he was little anxious. So what he did is, he went to Google and then tried to find the customer service number of Google Pay. He found one number from Google Pay. Right? So he found that number and then called that number. And then they said, okay, we will try to solve this problem. And then they said, you please give your credentials. Religiously, this person gave credentials to that, the customer care. And within 5 minutes span, 1,53,000 was debited from his account and it was credited to somebody else's account. Went to police station, he came to me and then I asked him to follow certain procedures. Even now, he has not got back his 1,53,000 rupees. He's a small-time businessman. He wanted to transfer 25,000, but he lost 1,53,000. One has to understand, none of these people, Paytm or Google, will have their own service centers. They don't give any service customer care number. Even if the customer care numbers are there in Google, please don't dial. Even if it is there, please don't share your credentials. If you share your credentials, you are bound to lose this money. So one has to be extremely careful in this case. So, similar case, I'll skip because I don't have time. You can go through in the net about this Uma Shankar versus ICICI Bank. Quickly, Uma Shankar got a link from a fake account saying that you give credentials. Uma Shankar thought it is his banker who gave the credentials. So he actually he gave the credentials and 6,43,000 was debited from his account and then credited to somebody called Uday Enterprises in Mumbai. Once the amount is credited to Uday Enterprises, the company itself is closed and the account was also closed. And then Uma Shankar did not know what to do. And then Uma Shankar went to the bank and then bank said it's not our problem because you should know that you should not give credentials to any of these fake account. But he was saying that look, it was looking like ICICI Bank, therefore I gave that amount. But even when you are transferring 6,43,000, you should have given me a call. And then you should have asked me whether I should transfer that amount. These days it happens. When you give a check, even for 25,000, you get an SMS saying that there is a check for 25,000, you want me to actually debit this amount or credit this amount. So this happened in Chennai. Then he went to adjudicator. If you have any problem, something like this, and if your police does not solve the problem, you can directly go to the Principal Secretary of Information Technology. The Principal Secretary of the Information Technology, he is the adjudicator. The adjudicator took this case and then asked the ICICI Bank to give 12,85,000 to Uma Shankar, which was given, and then the case is now pending before Cyber Appellate Tribunal. Even now it is pending. But the money, he got it back. So one has to be extremely careful. So I'll wind up my session with certain provisions of IT Act. Now, these are the smaller offenses. So 43A, I think it is unauthorized access. You can go through any of the IT Act. 43B, if you download or if you copy any material without any kind of authorization, you can be penalized. If I introduce virus in your computer, I can be penalized. I introduce a virus through pen drive, I can be penalized through 43D. If I damage any of your computer, if I steal any of the data from your computer, I can be penalized. So these are some of the small things which people can put penalty, but the bigger ones are the following. 66B, dishonestly receiving stolen computer or computer system. If somebody says that they have mobile phone and then they want to sell the mobile phone to you, please don't buy it without any invoice. If you buy without any invoice, you are calling for a serious action. It's 66B. You can be jailed for 3 years. If you buy a computer or a computer related machines without any invoice or dishonestly receiving any of those things, because those computers or mobile phones may be stolen from somebody else. So that's why you can be jailed for 3 years. If you steal anybody's identity, you can be jailed for 3 years. And if punishment for cheating by personation is again 3 years. And cyber terrorism, if you are involved in any of the cyber terrorism cases, then you can be penalized or you can be jailed for 10 long years. And 67 is a punishment for publishing and transmitting obscene material. So I'll skip some of these cases. I'll hand over the slides to your organizers so they can tell you. But I'll wind up with the last 2 slides. Now this is from Cyber Emergency Response Team India, the latest report of 2020. Now, in that report, in India, the cases which are reported are basically 77% of the cases are related to unauthorized network scanning. So they try to scan the network, they try to get into your computer, and then they try to steal the money. And 16% of the cases are related to virus or malicious code. And then 6% of the cases are related to website defamation, and around 4% are related to phishing scams. And what are the websites which are defamed? 66% of the websites defamed are in .in domain, and only 24% of them are in .com domain. So the final one being that around 2,54,28,135 computers were compromised in 2019, December alone. Not joking, in December 2019, around 2,54,28,135 computers were compromised. For what? For botnet attack. What is botnet? Robotic network. If somebody wants to actually attack somebody else's website without your knowledge, they will take over these computers. So that's why they call robotic network, but will be controlled by one master. My computer, if it is compromised, this computer, if it is compromised, maybe it's part of this 2,54 lakh system. So you take over all these machines, and then you can use these machines without your knowledge. You can use this machine without your knowledge to attack somebody else's website, to put it down. So therefore, one has to be extremely careful. one has to make sure that we are using right kind of antivirus tools. We are using right kind of softwares which are not pirated. And then we should make sure that we always upgrade our operating system and many of our tools. The moment we say that there is some patch and do you want me to upgrade, we'll say, okay, no, later. That leads to a lot of zero-day attacks. So that's a bug, basically. Using that bug, people can actually take over your system without your knowledge. You will never know that your system is compromised. Without your knowledge, your system will be taken over and which will be used for other kind of unlawful activity. So therefore, my sincere request to all of you is to please understand the cyber crime as a serious issue. And if you are in Bangalore, as I was told, that Bangalore is the #1 in all the metropolitan cities in India, that we are bound to any of this. We can be one of the victims for these cyber crimes. So I sincerely request all of you to be very careful about these issues. If you have any queries, maybe I think I can take up those queries in 2-3 minutes. Share my slides, so probably I think you can go with it. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
I'm extremely happy to thank Dr. B. Muralidhar sir. In fact, the entire 1 hour filled with the various minutest details of all the crimes which normally we are exposed to. All of us are using various devices which use internet, and the threat prospect is almost evident for all of us. So he went in detail of all these things. Of course, I don't say it's scaring, but a little of scare is there to take precautions. In fact, ಈ cyber crimes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋದು ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಕೂಡ ಸಮ್ವಾಟ್ ಎಜುಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸೇ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ that has to be used for the good thing. Unfortunately, a reasonable section among them are using this part to harass people, to bring disrepute, and again to get money. All those selfish ends, you know. So unless that is not there in us, probably we can look for zero crime, zero cyber crime environment. So I think his lecture definitely make us to look for that kind of a situation where all of us can contribute for this zero cybercrime environment. And I think that is a message which we would like to get from Dr. Muralidhar sir. In fact, he had a lot of love and concern towards our institution. In fact, we had him had the opportunity of his talk in a webinar conducted by our college only. So he talked there about the various teaching aids. Now we got him on a different platform. So anyway, I sincerely thank on behalf of Bangalore BVJ Science Center and our National College sincerely for his time and expertise for us. Thank you very much, sir. In fact, we would have gone for some more things, but unfortunately, we are having the next speaker already there, so we have to wind up. So now, please, all of you, all the other persons, participants, need to wait here only for the next session. Thank you.
11 ಜನ ಇದ್ರು. ಆದರೂ ಹುಡುಗರು
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Myself, Sonia Hegde, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Mathematics. Digitalization is the upshoot of many innovations and technological advancement. At one side of the coin, it has enhanced the system in all terms. But at second, it brought cybercrimes in large number. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have another speaker, Dr. Rohini Sepat, IPS, to speak on cybercrimes concerning women and children. I would like to request Dr. B.R. Parinita, Principal, the National College Jayanagar, to chair the session. Now I would like to call my colleague Professor Sushmita to introduce our guest to the esteemed audience.
A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I, Professor Sushmita, would take this as an opportunity to welcome our guest for today, Dr. Rohini Katoch, IPS Superintendent of Police. We have with us a very eminent personality, Dr. Rohini, who is from the Indian Police Service 2008 batch, Karnataka cadre. She is basically from Agra, Uttar Pradesh. Her present posting is of Superintendent of Police, Counterfeit Currency, Arms, Narcotics and Idol Division, CID, Bangalore. Her previous assignments were Assistant Superintendent of Police, Puttur Subdivision, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Bhatkal, Uttar Kannada, Superintendent of Police, KGF from 2012 to 2014, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Southeast Division, Bangalore City, Director State Forensic Science Laboratories from 2016 to 2017. To talk about her awards, Best IPS Officer 2015, awarded by Newspaper Association of India, New Delhi. Appreciation regarding various community interaction programs initiated in the corona pandemic to assist general public. We are very much looking forward to hear so much from you, ma'am. Over to you. Thank you.
आप इसको स्लाइड प्ले कर. This one also. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you so much for having me today here, and wish you all a very happy National Science Day. We have a national conference on cybersecurity, and I think it has to be predominantly in English, or it can be Kannada-English mixed, or mixed. Okay. So, everybody of us knows, and I think already the the gentleman previously here who was also speaking about cyber laws, you are already quite aware of the cyber scenario of the country. So, Nandu illi patra specifically focus irutte on women and children, but apart from that also, as a police officer, it is my responsibility to tell you what exactly is happening in the cyber field. Because now we are a very, very small minuscule of this entire ocean of Earth. We are very, very small part of this entire global hemisphere. So basically, the entire world is moving at a very, very fast pace when we come to the world of cyber. Because everybody is now connected through internet, everybody owns a mobile phone, everybody is basically on par with each other, as well as talking in basically digital terms. So like previously you must have friends whom you go out and hang out with. Now you have Facebook friends, WhatsApp groups and other things who are your basic virtual friends. But that is also a reality. Today, tomorrow, we cannot go back to our older times. I'll just close down all my phones and I'll go back to the previous world also. That can't happen. And fortunately or unfortunately, Corona has brought on to us this thing in which we are pushed into the digitalization. Suddenly, one fine day, the schools were closed down, the colleges closed down, meetings cannot happen, and everything suddenly pitched onto the digital platform. Everything from your schools to your meetings were happening virtually. Even inaugurations till date were happening virtually. The day sir came and invited to me, my first question was, is this a virtual? Should I connect online, or are you to ask me to come physically? So this is how our entire paradigm has changed about the way this internet has come into our lives, the cyber has come into our lives. Now it also possesses challenges. So I'll just briefly come through some 4 or 5 challenges that I have basically listed out, which I think will be of main concerns to you, as well as a precursor of what Indian government is doing, what we are doing from the law enforcement side, what are your options, how are you supposed to report a crime, what are your rights and liabilities when it comes to cybercrime. Okay, so as you can see, this is just a very brief kind of a thing. It is last year's statistics, but this shows how small a pin in this entire ocean and this entire haystack of world we are. There's a huge population of more than 7 billion, out of which 5 billion are already on the internet. So that percentage is very less who do not are on internet, whether it is our grandparents or whether it is our cousins down the line who are just 4 or 5 years in age. All of them are on internet. And that also possesses us a challenge of what is going to be our response to it. This is regarding the Asia-Pacific region, where you can see very well that we are one of the major chunks and major contributors in this entire internet penetration. India actually ranks one of the largest internet developing nation, in which the penetration into the population is extremely large. You can see we top it. There is an absolute growth of more than 23% took place just in, that is previous year's statistics, since we are not very well aware of what exactly happened in the corona times. But this is where we are one of the highest absolute number of growth of the people who have internet things. So cybercrime also comes into the picture. Worldwide, this is just an estimation that there will be more than 6 trillion will be the cost of what is going to be in this cybercrime scenario. Trillion, it is not million, it is not billion, it is trillion. So you understand that there is a very significant cost to it. And once there is a significant cost to it, there is also going to be significant cost to the protection measures. And once it is a significant cost to the protection measures, a whole new world gets open to us. Like a lot of youngsters sitting here who also might think of having a career in cybersecurity. Because it is the tomorrow, the in thing, it is something that all of us are going to be exposed to, whether today or tomorrow. This is just one of the things that I took out from the thing that our own national cybersecurity coordinator, he has himself said that this is what we are happening on a daily basis. More than 4 lakh malware attacks take place daily in the Indian cyber landscape. Now, I don't know how much level of understanding you have, but you, I think, basically understand what a malware is. Something, a piece of code which enters into your computer systems, which either takes over your computer systems, takes over your credentials, or basically causes loss to you. It is as simple as that. Anything or everything that causes loss to you. So that is where, and more than a cyber attack. Cyber attacks are now the in thing, the word that we keep on hearing about. Basically, these are threat actors which may be based in the Indian subcontinent, which may be based internationally. So what you do today is actually known to a lot of people abroad. Your date of birth, which you may not have just by subconsciously let it out in your social media profile or something, is known to a lot of people there. And there are people who have made it into a business, of which taking your identity theft, and then selling it on to the dark web, and then coming back to you either in the form of ransom, either in the form of just pure, simple phishing, wishing attacks. So this is a reality that we all need to be aware of. Cybercrime are a huge, big topic. It can be anything. But basically, I've done this kind of a thing, which I found it on the internet itself, is it can be divided into cybercrime against individuals, individual person, one person targeting the other, one person concealing his identity and trying to bully a person. It's directly one-to-one relationship. But there are also systematic attacks that take place on organization. For example, today we are having this symposium. There may be certain section of people who don't like us, who feel that this symposium should not happen, who feel that there should be a disrespect brought to the institution, or just, for the fun sake of it, let's go ahead and tamper it. So there are going to be things which happen against this organization. This is a direct, I think, a YouTube live feed is directly going on. So one person will think, wow, let's just get into the YouTube, let's hack it, let's put our poster there. So that is also an offense. That is also happens to you, and that happens at that ground level. There are cyber crimes that happen against the society itself. Basically, you must have heard, I don't know till what level, but there are actors who are fictitious, virtual. A person who has his own virtual identity. You must have heard about the 26th January, the rioting that took place in Delhi. You must have heard about a lot of nefarious activities that keep on tacking up behind our backs. We have absolutely no idea who's doing it, how he is doing it. Somebody sitting in a third location, very far from this country, but decides to, come on, let's me jack it up, let's create some virtual profiles, and all he needs to do is to just spew venom, He can just start assaulting, abusing people. Then his, what you call trolling in the typical word. Other trolls are going to add on. I may not like you, correct. But the way I target you, the way I bring discontent and that anguish to you is what it becomes of that magnitude. I may not be liking you because of your views or because of any personal differences. It's very different from the attacks that takes place and cross nationalities. We believe there are what you call theater actors, in the sense virtual actors, which we say, which are based in very foreign countries. Russia has a presence. China has a presence. Those actors, they are there. They not just spend the malware inside, but they're also involved in twisting our social media scenario, using our own social media scenario against us, spreading certain things which may be 100% fake, 100% fake. So those are also things that happen, and then there are obviously cybercrime against government. So government is what exactly? Government runs the banks, government runs law enforcement agencies, we are a part of the government. If an attack takes place on us, It not just undermines the small people that we are, but it also undermines the state government, the government which is standing behind us. If you just imagine that something tomorrow somebody is going to be able to hack into our markets, the person can bring up and bring down the markets in a manner of few clicks. So that is where we call critical infrastructure, the infrastructure that runs our country. And protecting that critical infrastructure is also one of the sovereign responsibilities of the government, but that is also one of the areas which gets targeted. So these are one of the basic, this is also last 2020's thing that we had prior to Corona. This is what most commonly was happening to a common citizen, not of the national level I'm speaking, not on anti-government levels I'm speaking, but the most frequent was financial fraud. 70 to 80% of the things are financial fraud. Somebody is going to call you and utilize his way of talking to you, connecting to you to get information out of you. And we, being the unsuspecting people, we being the people who rely on everybody, trust on everybody, end up giving up our major credentials. So this is which led to the first 4 points, that is the debit card frauds, job frauds, card skimming. I think you have already heard of it. Basically, somebody attaches a very small, I'll have a full presentation on that card skimming later on. Gifts and loan offers. Who doesn't like the gifts? Everybody loves a gift. So, and there is the most frequent modus operandi is, you have earned so-and-so in a lottery system, so-and-so. I require to give you so much thousands of currency which is supposed to be deposited to you, but it is stuck in customs. So please pay the customs fee first and then I'll give it to you, right? So this is, which is the most commonest, and it is where we all scum also, because like I said, who doesn't like a discount? Who doesn't like a free gift? So that our human tendency is utilized against us by the skimmers. Then definitely we have social media cases and we have other business opportunity frauds also. Business opportunity frauds is very simple. Somebody is going to send an email that, like it happens in rural India, where you see, I am from the Reliance Towers company. I want to put a tower in your land because I don't have connectivity here. And please send this. The format they make is pretty exhaustive. You know, anybody can feel that, yeah, it is a genuine thing only. And that thing you'll do, first time you'll send it and he'll say, yes, we have agreed to it. We are making a payment. And yes, you are going to be very much happy by the payment. That will be only of around 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. Then they will ask for all sorts of funds. Registration charges, this charge, that charge. And at the end of the game, you will not even realize, but you have paid lakhs and lakhs of rupees to these fraudulent opportunity frauds. You must have heard of a very famous NDTV journalist who recently had come out saying that she was offered a job in the Western country, and then she realized it was a fraud. Day before yesterday, I was interacting with some people, so he was telling us how WebEx meetings are also becoming a fraud. Somebody asked the person, he was also a cybercrime expert, to say so, to join in and on a webinar. And that poor person joined in on the webinar. He was sent a link. And then he kept waiting for the link. And then the link came, obviously a fictitious link that came to him. He joined in. Then that person started asking other details by the end of the matter to it. So what exactly happened? A malware was introduced into his computer. His computer's all credentials were locked out. And a cybersecurity expert also ended up becoming a victim. It happens with all of us. It happens with our grandparents, it happens with our parents, it also happens with us. So this is one by one, which I have basically made a presentation about 5 major important things which youngsters, youth, women and children, we are more or less susceptible to it. Basically, financial frauds are one of the basic things that happen to us. Skimming. Now what does skimming means? A person is going to install a skimming machine into the ATM unknowingly. What is a skimming machine? The moment you're putting an ATM card into it, your card, the details which are there in that magnetic strip, or which is sometimes now in the form of a small chip also, gets read on to the machine. Next question, you will automatically ask, why are the machines available? Now, machines are available everywhere. It is even available on Amazon also. You can go and check it. You will get a skimming machine on Amazon also. So that is where the person has installed it in the ATM. You unsuspectingly go there, you swipe it. There is a very small camera also that he has put in front of the keyboard where you are putting in your passcode, the number, the PIN number that you are filing. And that also he can read. All this data he captures, keeps it with himself, either utilizes himself or sells it on the darknet. There is a huge, what you call infrastructure that is working in all this. One person just captures your data. One person sells it. One person utilizes it. What is the challenge when it comes to cybercrime from policing perspective is, the person who is capturing is different. The person who is selling is 100% different. Person who has finally withdrawn your money is going to be a totally different person sitting somewhere in Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, which will be physically impossible for an investigator here in Bangalore to go there and check in who exactly has drawn out the money. And now, it was till 5 years back, money withdrawal was the most commonest mechanism. Now, money withdrawal is not the most commonest mechanism. The person, the third player who is there, he is going to make purchases. Purchases into random things, making payments on PayPal, here, there. It is like a web. From one web you are jumping to other, from other you are jumping to other. So this definitely makes it one of the most challenging things. Still, our old generation, our elderlies love to use the ATM card, and that's why still skimming remains one of the major things why we are having financial frauds. Of late, the younger generation has moved out of the ATM. Everything is online, everything is on internet banking. But still, a lot of people, a lot of semi-literate population also goes to the ATM card for withdrawal of their salary, and there is where they become extremely vulnerable for an attack. So all these things are basically small tidbits of information for you to become aware, that you to understand, because slowly it has to go into a memory, it has to come automatically. You have to become semi-policeman only to understand that what exactly is happening and to become aware of it. Same, the skimming also, the skimming person also have sometimes other new techniques like what you call shoulder reading. You know, the person is in small areas if you go where Bomanhalli you go, where every week the payment happens to our government workers. If you see the line outside there on Monday, outside all ATM cards, you will understand how big is the line. And it's like back to back, bumper to bumper, person is standing. And the person is just looking. The people are just looking on the shoulder, what exactly PIN code it is there. Somebody will say, oh, it is not coming. Oh, it is not coming. Yeah, I'll give it to you. So sometimes even the cards get displaced. So all these modus operandis are also very much there. Every one modus operandi is there for a particular population set. This is where we are seeing in our daily wage workers, which definitely have this entire thing. Now, like I said, there is a lot of different people who are involved in this. One gang selects your data, targets your data, obtains your data. The other bank, the other person, the second person tries, who is right now sitting in Jamtara, Jharkhand somewhere, is going to contact your mobile phone operator saying, I have misplaced the card, please give me another card. What is two-level verification? One is you should remember your PIN. Second, you should get an alert, correct? OTP is you receive on your phone number. Now, how to bypass that? Bypass the phone number. Get a fake SIM. Somebody is going to call like, I am Rohini speaking, I have misplaced my phone, please give me another SIM. So as service providers, all of them are very much willing to give as many number of SIMs as possible because it's business for them. We have to understand their concept also. So they'll issue the SIM without verification, without understanding who the person is or not. The SIM is going to get issued. So you are not going to get an alert tomorrow when your account is getting used. That SIM is going to get the alert. And that SIM is going to be using the same password that you have given for all the transaction that happens. So why this I'm explaining is because this is a subset of the same ATM, same internet banking transaction that takes place, but in a much more organized manner. There are lots and lots of unemployed youth which are still there in our country, which is utilizing all sorts of information that they have to basically circumvent the entire thing. Now you all know that KYC is mandatory, correct? But have you ever observed, have you ever received a message from any bank that please get your KYC done? You don't have bank accounts. So you received the SMS. You must understand that no bank is going to ask you to do a KYC by sending you an SMS. It is the bank's responsibility to do the KYC. It's not your responsibility. So bank is supposed to, as per law, they are mandated to do the KYC verification by law. So the bank has the onus of responsibility on finding you, verifying you that you are the correct person, and then updating your KYC records. This is the lacuna which the bank also a little bit not very vigilant about it, and which our fraudster also use. He or she is going to send you a message with a link. Please click on this for your KYC verification. And like all law-abiding citizens, we believe that yes, we are supposed to do the KYC regulation. Please let us log into it and do the verification. That is where, once again, this entire things go haywire. There sometimes it is such an organized operation of frauding that there is an online KYC team sitting somewhere else, third party, Delhi, Indraprasth, somewhere down the line. They will be in a very clear, crisp English, they'll be responding to your questions. You will not even be aware. I can very well watch the example which happened with me. I was the SP of a district. I was conducting police recruitment exam only. So the entire verification, that running was going on, and I receive a call. Ma'am, I'm your bank manager from SBI speaking. We have your salary bank. Obviously, all government officials have salary bank in SBI only. 90% of us have there only. And there is this problem. You have been locked out of this. So a message will be given to you. Because your KYC was not updated, we have frozen your account. Now we are sending your this password to you. Please update it. And I, being an IPS officer, it didn't click me. It did not click me that it was something fraudster. Then I said, okay, I'm a little busy. I'm in the middle. Call me after 5 minutes. Luckily, Devara Kripainda, within 5 minutes, I got thinking, why will that person call me like this? And why was he not speaking in Kannada? Why was he speaking in English? Because like everybody should speak in Kannada normally here. So why was he speaking in English? So I called my fellow that, see, this number is there, track from where the number is originated. So we got the number is from Jharkhand. I was like, thank God. Otherwise, I would have been the next victim of these frauds. And then obviously we definitely reported to it also. But like I'm telling you, it is a web. There are thousands of SIM cards that are in operation in certain states, in the hand of these fraudsters who run it like a factory operation. It is like a factory that is running. You know, you have seen those MNCs where, there are 24/7 call centers. So there are 24/7 call centers which these fraudsters also run. So it is a sophisticated operation. It is difficult. Definitely it is difficult for law enforcement. It is not impossible. But yes, it is difficult for us also to penetrate into it. It is difficult for us to take it down also. Why? Because there are some factual or what you call some legalities that are involved, or some not just legality, I can say it is our operational hindrances are there. For me to go to Jharkhand, find this fellow, catch him, bring it back, prosecute him in my court, in the Bangalore court here, it definitely is going to be a challenge for me. And that is where it happens is where, see, oh, it is 500 rupees, okay, leave it. When it becomes 5 lakh, 5 crore something, then okay, then it is worth going there, sitting there, spending public expenditure on my consumption there, catching the person, bringing him back, and then prosecuting him. So definitely there are these loopholes which are there, but whatever said and done, we are also growing, we are also becoming aware of cybercrime, we are also developing our mechanisms. All these things, individual police officer also was not aware till quite some time back. Now we are also learning, we are also becoming, it is a cat-mouse race, so definitely we are trying to catch up the mouse. QR code, youngsters are very aware of QR code. Everywhere there is PayPal, everything, you just have to show the QR code and it comes. Even donations are happening through QR code now. People are sending you QR code. There is something that you yourself can get your QR code. So, it can be made. But please be aware, whether it is a QR code, whether it is an SMS, please be aware, nothing happens for free. There are very less chances that Devaradu kripa agide suddenly adu to agodilla. So let us be very aware why somebody is offering us this matter suddenly, why it is happening. So most important is, please be suspicious. Don't be relying on everybody, anything. If you get a call, do independently verify. That is all we are requesting you. That is all is the fundamental. Go to Google, type it. See what, from where you are getting the call. See now Truecaller is there with everybody, correct? If you see it on Truecaller itself also you can know. But yes, this is another form of SIM-SWAT. SIM-SWAT is more or less listening. I'll fasten my presentation, otherwise it will not finish only. Now, phishing, wishing, smishing. I think you have heard of it. All backbenchers have heard of it. The front people also must have been heard of it. Basically, it is simple. It is same word, same used for different modes of communication to you. Phishing is you get an email. Wishing is you get an SMS. Sorry, wishing is you get a call. And smishing is you get an SMS. Fake. Please do this, I'll give you this. So this is what is happening where we call a phishing, which is there where you're getting an email. More and more people, more and more corporate sectors are subjected to phishing because they are the people who are basically there on emails. Their entire thing, entire transaction happens on email. People like you and me don't open email also every day. So, but people who are there on corporate sector, it is their bread and butter. So basically they get targeted, whether they are how do they get targeted? They sometimes are able to divulge their identity on it. Somebody is going to say that I am from HR department, please send me so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. You are not even aware whether HR has called you or talked to you or not. So you end up giving it. So that is where a lot of these things happen on the the email platform. Same, what you should do, please verify the sender. It is as simple as that. Do not open an unsolicited free offer. If you feel it is a little bit credible, just look at the sender. If you feel it is furthermore credible, verify it from a third source, and do not under any circumstances open any attachment. Basic 4 principles of how to prevent, how to be aware, and how to keep yourself updated with the new techniques that are going to be thrown onto you. And simply do not befriend people whom you don't know. Disclosing your personal information, chatting with them. Definitely all of us are lonely to a little bit extent, but this urge to connect with a fellow human being is also that urge that leads us down the trap. So let us be a little bit aware of it. Specifically our elderly generation who have recently started using phones are one of the most predominant people who get affected by the phishing attacks. That is, phone ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು ತಮಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಇದು ಬೇಕು ಈಗ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಮಾಸ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ಲೀಸ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ they were one of the basic people who got affected to it because they were absolutely unaware that this all something ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿನೇ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವರು ತಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಈ ಥರ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡಿ ನಾವು ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸೊ for all our youngsters also, it is our responsibility to alert our grandparents, parents also, make them aware of what exactly is happening and be aware of all sorts of voice calls also. Because, you know, this is an example, it's a more Western example, like you are using your laptop in which somebody from if it has a Microsoft thing, so if somebody is going to call you, see this is it has got compromised, please download this software. And you will download it. And that's where the entry is there. And once the entry is there, it goes for a spoof. So there are a lot of people who take your details and sell it abroad. So there are some people who are also spoofing your caller IDs. And then they will be using all these things to basically convincing you that there is an urgent need to transfer funds. Once you log on to your bank account statement, and the fraudster is going to be dictating it to you. See, idu madi, adu madi, ashte ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು OTP ಬರುತ್ತೆ OTP ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ. So this is where it is which is becoming more and more scary. Emails, definitely it is not very much of interest to us, but that is whatever any unexpected request should be met with caution. That is the end of it. Now SMSs Lot of SMSs. I'm very sure you must have received SMSs, specifically during the Corona period. We have all received SMSs from all sorts of people giving us free mask, free this, free health checkup, free vaccine. Ega vaccination kuda start agate. Free vaccination. Now nimge test ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, antibody test ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So adu ella are where we end up pressing the link. So this is one of the examples where, you know, free coupon, all we women love to shop. So definitely, it's most indicative that we are going to place onto it. And there are also going to be some examples that like you have got your scholarship, you have got your car and all sorts of things. Now this is the next thing which I think is more pointing towards your young generation, women specifically, children specifically. It's a concept of cyber stalking and cyber bullying. Same, stalking and bullying remains the same. Only difference is it's done on a digital platform. Cyber stalking means, yes, you are following people. All of us have followers of somebody and we are followers of somebody. So it is absolutely normal to be following. But once, till what level do we go into this following business is what becomes scary. Nobody has the right to troll anybody. Nobody has the right to pass comments or hijack the person's account to a level in which he or she cannot live peacefully. Nobody has the right to basically use the friendship that you have developed through social media for your own vested interest. So this is where this entire concept of cyber stalking happens. Cyber stalking can be very simple. Direct, a threatening, obscene email can be sent to you. You have absolutely no idea who's sending it, but it will be sent to you. Spamming is you are going to be over-flooded with messages. The bidodilla atara ondu person ittare and he'll just going to continuously improper messages and with the threat of spreading it to our relatives, our friends. That is where we become extremely vulnerable. When there is a one-to-one interaction with a stranger also, we are not that vulnerable. The moment the person makes a threat that I am going to leak it to your friends, I am going to put it on a social media profile, I am going to make it public, that is where this entire thing from legal suddenly becomes illegal. Because such kind of a threat also are illegal. You are protected beyond that level under the law also. Definitely you cannot say, like you will say that why not, is the entire paradigm of cyber stalking illegal? Cyber stalking becomes illegal when it goes from legal to illegal in the sense you are subjected to some sort of a harassment. All people, all of us know, what should we do for the first time we are cyber stalked? We have to block the number. We have to block the person. And their option is there. The option is there by your friends also. If you are getting cyber stalked on the Facebook also, your friends also can report to it. You also can report to it. Till previously, we were not having that much robust cybersecurity platform. But now, on a daily basis, hundreds and hundreds of Facebook profiles are getting closed because of all these what you call the requests that we receive from general public. So these are happening now on a very big level, but the threat also remains on a very big level. But as a youngster, as a person who has just introduced themselves into social media, we should become very aware of what exactly cyber stalking is happening so that we are also aware to how to be responding to it. So this is just an international average of more than 6.6 million people are getting stalked annually. Cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is very clearly same as cyber stalking. The attack can happen, and abuse can happen. The person goes on to the level of abusing you, spreads lies about you. Nane nodidini avaru alli alli hogidare. That is a comment about you in a public forum, which brings disrespect to you. Why? Because the person will threaten you. If you do not do so-and-so, 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 I will do so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so on the social profile. So that is where it causes an extreme amount of anxiety, intimidation and discredit to the individual person. Now us, we are individuals, we have a lot of experience in the field, we have like grown up. So we are able to understand it, but understand from the perspective of a teenager. He or she, for him, peer group is more important than us. For him, the friends are the ultimate thing that happens. That is what established the in thing. So for them, it is their identity. So there we must understand what kind of anxiety the person will be going through, and then should be important for our response as parents, our response as law enforcement, our response as teachers. Because shutting it down, asking the child not to have a social media profile is illogical. It is today's world. They are going to go into the world. We as parents, we as people who think good about them should protect them by making their abilities to understand and react to a threat, rather than putting them in a cocoon and imagining that they will never ever be subjected to cyber harassment. So this is one example that I took out from the names have been changed, the college has been changed, but it is just an example of how cyberbullying goes across the thing. A girl whose friend, who was no longer her friend at that time, decided to become vicious about it. She creates an artificial profile about her. She makes her entire photos, which are already there. A lot of photos are there in our social media profiles. It's there, it's a public thing. And then it goes about targeting and making a fake profile in her name. So it appears to be extremely nonsensical for us. But for that person, for that 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old, it is huge stress. For him or her, it means a lot of things. We believe that at least 1 in 10 Indian adolescents face cyberbullying. And not even 50% of them report it. Not just report to the law enforcement, not even report it to their parents. So what we are requesting and we are trying to put across is, it is a reality that is happening. Most of the stalking, most of the cyberbullying happens by the people whom we know. So most important is that we should be aware of what exactly is happening, who is my friends, who has become my enemy. If you can see the statistics, 11% of the victims have been stalked for more than 5 years. Just imagine what happens after 5 years of stalking to the individual's mindset. What he or she will be viewing it about. So how do we stop it? Log off, obviously, whenever the bullying is happening. Most important thing is removing yourself from that environment and reporting it. It is the two most important things that we can do, say, block the emails, log off, save the messages. Why? Because it is an escalation that is happening. And whatever is happening right now is an evidence of that escalation. So if you save it, you are building up evidence against your perpetrator. We don't know how it is going to end. It may end today only, but it may escalate also. So in an eventuality of an escalation, it is always better to keep a record of whatever is happening. But definitely most important is establish communication line. Tell to somebody, tell to a parent, tell to a friend, tell to somebody. Need not be just police officers, but tell to somebody. This is where we are asking parents, basically. Closing down their social media thing is not an option. Making them aware is an option, and building that trust is the way ahead. Our kids need to trust us. If they don't trust us, how are they going to trust the law enforcement? How are they going to trust anybody? So most important thing is, but the first 4 points, be alert, start a conversation. Start talking. That communication line is what is more important, and show support. Always it's not the child's fault that he or she gets targeted. It is very simple to what we call sexual abuse, victims of sexual abuse. They become victimized by the society as if it was her fault. A sexual abuse is an accident that happens. It is bad luck for her that it happened to her. As people of us, we did not just go about escalating her victimization cycle that, why did you go out in the night? Why did you befriend her? Why did you do this? Why did you do that type of thing? You should always be aware, but please stop at the level where it escalates into that vicious level of victimization. This is the last point that I'm into. This, I think, a lot of youngsters back around will be aware. This is where narcotics are sold in a very huge level on the internet. We called it the dark web. Now, the dark web is not exactly available to all of us anywhere, but it is there. So the most important for us is to be aware of a fact that there are darknet places, there are dark web places where easily drugs are being sold, drugs are brought into the country, drugs reach even the individual user itself. So for us as a peer group is to understand whether my friend has become a victim of drug abuse or not. And as parents, we should be aware that this eventuality is also there. which our youngsters are going to be exposed to. So this is just a pictorial representation of the people who do not understand what is dark web. Dark web is something which is pretty down like an iceberg. It is hidden, it is not indexed. These are like you type in the Google and things come out. In dark web, it doesn't comes out like that. It is hidden down layers and layers and layers of routing. Basically, from here the traffic is going to go to Finland, from Finland it is going to go to Austria, from Austria it is going to go to someplace else, and then it finally leads to the server which is hosting that particular page, which keeps on changing at a daily level. A lot of things happen on the dark web. There are black markets, there are terrorist organizations, there are botnets. More important, what we have seen in our present scenario is drugs. So I just wanted it to be, you people to be aware of it, so that it is one of the things that we should always be aware that why parcels are coming from abroad to my neighbor, why my neighbor is not behaving properly, what my friend is ordering or what your child is ordering. Just be aware, that's all. Kids are very smart, they are much smarter than you and me. We are learning it right now, but they are already gone to that level of learning it and becoming very proficient in it. But please be aware that these scenarios are also there. This is just the list of markets that are there. It is like Amazon of dark web. So, you know, they are there, you go there and you purchase whatever you want to purchase. Now, the things which are there down, which you see as blurred, these are marketplaces that have been taken down by law enforcement, which are no longer active. Those are which are remain active. So, we are in that cat-mouse race. We take down things, but things keep cropping up also. So this is where you can get guns, psychedelics. Psychedelic basically means drugs, hackers, anything and everything is available on darknet. This is the last thing that I basically wanted to show you. This is a Tor browser through which you enter the dark web. So all parents, if you find it on your kid's laptop, please have a chat with him or her, what exactly is happening. Please be aware of the fact that this world exists. Shutting it down, once again I'm saying, is not an option. Talking it out, establishing security parameters is what we will advise all teachers, parents to advise, and as well as all youngsters who are already past this level. Please be aware. There are dangers lurking behind, so let's not just jump into it. Ransomware, what we have said, it's not basically about you and me. This is at like what I told you, at a national level, where somebody is attacking my country or somebody is attacking my organization, where I'm going to get locked about. And a lot of organizations, I must say, they have experienced it. So this is 81% of the businesses have experienced this kind of a thing. Now, last part, I'll finish it very fast. You must be also aware of what government is doing. We keep on talking, idu illa, idu illa, idu illa. If you observe all these things, how are you going to approach? Who are you going to approach? Majority of the things that I observed and I told you, like for example, somebody sending you an SMS, you may be or may not be aware whether it is fake or not, correct? For you, it is suspicious. All suspicion doesn't amount to a fraud. Hence, any FIR or a case may not be leading to an FIR or a case. But as citizens of this country, it is our responsibility to report it. Now we have a cybercrime reporting portal, which is the entire country is run by one portal itself. So everybody and anybody can actually log on to this portal and file an official complaint about any suspicious things also that you are seeing. That is the cybercrime.gov.in. That is where the portal is there. From there, it gets routed to us at the state level. From state level, it goes on to us verifying individually who the perpetrator is. If there is a loss, I'm once again repeating, if you have lost money, if there is a damage that has already been happened, most important thing is go to the nearest police station and report it. But if the damage has not happened, you just received a suspicious email, you have seen something on the web, and you feel that it is suspicious, this is where we are requesting you to report it, so that not just at a global level, at a country level also, we become aware of what exactly new things are happening. This is hosted in the Ministry of Home Affairs, where you can actually, there's this entire segment of reporting of crime against women and child, and where there is an option of reporting it anonymously also. where you feel that there is something which is extremely, pornographic, child pornographic material is there, some extremely weird material is there which you feel that needs to be reported, that can be reported directly and that can also be reported anonymously. This is just what I did the screenshot so that you're aware of how we as authorized agencies have a different login. Each individual citizen can log in. Only thing that this portal requires is your mobile number so that there is some sort of an authentication to who is exactly reporting against whom. And the entire details also can be chucked up. You can definitely put your details, your suspect details, what exactly complaint you have, and you can submit it. This is what is also shown as anonymously, where you can also just pass on information anonymously. Now, I have already briefed you regarding critical infrastructure, right? Like your server in your college here will become a critical infrastructure. Our powerhouses are there, power grid is there. Our own, like for example, CID website is there. So these all are critical infrastructure. They are our back-end running. The banks are running huge, big servers. Why I'm showing you all this? Because you should be aware of how our critical infrastructure is protected. Our critical infrastructure gets protected by the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. This thing which you can see here, the website is also there. Here, this is a unit of the NTRO, which is a National Technical Research Organization. So basically, they are a watchdog, sitting outside, monitoring what traffic is coming in and coming out, who's attacking whom, is there any sort of a thing that is happening on a global level. If we people are an agency or we feel that we have been threatened or we have been compromised, they have a portal which also issues for incident reporting, vulnerability disclosure as well as malware reporting. There is another something known as CERT. CERT is known as Computer Emergency Response Team. There is a CERT team in an organization, there is a CERT team in a state, and there is a CERT team for the country itself. It is run by the Ministry of Information and Technology. Why? They also do the same thing. They also keep on updating you. See, new malware is there into picture. Please update it yourself. This is so and so happening. You might be exposed or you might have been attacked. Because it takes minimum 30 days for an organization to understand that it has been attacked. In the meanwhile, everything is already gone. So the CERT is basically our back-end watchdogs that are also doing it. They also have a Cyber Swachhata Kendra. Basically, it means it's a botnet removal. Botnets are basically malwares which are reproducing within your system. So they are also be able to provide us that thing of how to remove the botnets. So I think I have been able to put across my entire issue of cyber crimes. It's extremely exhaustive. Nobody is going to be able to cover it exhaustively, but this is what I will like to, from my side in CID, we can like to present before you, and I hope it was exhaustive. Thank you. Question kelbeku? Acha bartane.
Madam, hello.
Dear teachers, students, and all of you who have been a part of this program, I'm sure this has been a highly enlightening and different type of session because it was collaborating both experience and technology and the remedies. Actually, we are inviting questions to all of you, but before inviting questions, as a formality, I actually thank Mrs. Rohini, IPS officer, who has made excellent homework before coming here, using the research methodology. As an academician, I appreciate it. She has been wonderful. And I myself would like to pose a question to her first, before I open up to the audience. When a person is put to disrepute by continuous trolling, even after the complaint has been registered, how many days will it take to give a remedy for that? And can that trolling be put to an end immediately for a common person?
Ma'am, rightly said, basically once you say trolling, so once a particular example is brought to the information of a law enforcement agency, that it has to be a little bit investigated. Is it a person to person? Is it systematic? Whether the simple steps of blocking that profile, will it suffice it? Or is it a part of a very vested interest of a few individuals who are purposefully targeting? As law enforcement, what we typically do is, as soon as we receive this complaint from cyber, most of the complaint that we're receiving is through portal only. Portal directs it to us. We responded by conducting the preliminary investigation. If it is person to person specific, yes, immediately the action takes place because we are able to identify the person. We are able to identify the person immediately. The local case gets registered and if it is of a bigger level, if it is just a part of the cyber bullying that is happening all across, that becomes extremely challenging because you already have seen it also, ma'am, that all these things take place on social media profiles. Social media profile, majority of the social media profile are those people are not based in India. Twitter is not based in India, Facebook is not based in India, neither are their servers based in India. Luckily, very luckily for us, within I think 2 days back, we have issued the latest information technology rules that have come into the picture on these people also, on these social media giants also. Till that, previously what was happening was, if it is just a part of the culture of blaming one person to another and another person to another, and we are not able to conclusively prove that there is a conspiracy, nothing much can be done. Because it is basically that power, right of privacy comes into the picture, that I have a right of, right of freedom of expression comes into the picture,
Yes, yes.
that I have freedom to tell whatever I want. So this is where that balancing market is important. More important for us is to prove that there is a conspiracy, to prove that it was a malicious attack targeting a person. That is somewhere which law enforcement agencies continue to try. But we also continue to face challenges also.
Yeah, justice delayed is justice denied. That's how I have felt. So I had to pose this question, and actually we are indebted to the crime branch of the police department for putting in a huge amount of effort in preventing cybercrime. Now I invite questions from anybody in the audience.
Hello, ma'am. One question from online. Question asked by Shashi Kumar. Hi, ma'am. I was wondering if there are any means to find out if an ATM machine or a POS device has been attached with a skimming machine.
This is Mr. Asif, who is operator.
Yes, sir. So basically, if you can scroll back to my presentation also, there are certain signs which you can easily make out. Very easily you can make out that there is an addendum attached to where you are adding the ATM card. It's very visible. Sometimes that we just, it just misses our eyes that it is not visible. Then third thing that you can arise is that never a camera is going to be placed on the top of your what you call, where you are punching in your numbers. Why will the bank be interested in knowing your number? If there is a camera, if there is a bleeping light, 101% of the time it is a skimmed machine or it is thing. Even if whether you may not be 100% be aware whether it is skimming is happening or not. What is important for you is to be aware of it, and if it is there, please report it to the concerned banks. Because sometimes some operations are extremely sophisticated, it is not very easy to make out. But if you become suspicious, please report it immediately to the bank or to the nearest police station so that can be verified.
Anybody from the audience?
How does the money collected from cyber fraud gets laundered? How do they escape the IRS?
Very sophisticated question. So basically, like I told you, there are these big players who are there. Now the big player need not be a very big drug lord or a very big gangster. There are these group of individuals who are sitting in a different geographical location, who are laundering your information, your and my information, selling it out. And once that selling out takes place, anybody, including a person sitting in Nigeria, also can make the transaction. So once this entire thing, like you're saying, that the transaction is happening in Nigeria. So why isn't our banks or why isn't the final service provider getting alerted to it? Actually, they are getting alerted to it now. Like I told, that's why the reason I told you and I showed you the cert response was. There is where the traffic is getting diverted to the outside country, which alerts us at a back end that why it is getting basically diverted outside. Not individual CID or a cyber police station does that type of an investigation. That investigation gets escalated to national agencies like Enforcement Directorate or NTRO to be more specific, who is basically keeping a watchdog to where is the money going, why is it going outside, and we are able to block it. But what we are saying is that blocking may be extremely temporary, because it is extremely temporary for us to know where the sale took place. How did your particular information go there? It is like, crime investigation is like joining the dots. There are very simple questions: what, when, how, who. All question is, how did you join the dots? You or me, my individual identity is getting compromised. The day who is compromises my identity? How did it end up being with the scamster? And how did the scamster finally execute and gave me the financial loss that I'm experiencing? So that is where the entire challenge of cybercrime investigation also happens. Very correctly said, we have this outside angle also, but we live in today's world in which everything is horizontal. It's vertically connected to each other. We cannot close our borders, we cannot close our internet borders also at any point of time. But likely said that monitoring has to improve. It is improving to a very big level, but it's a very, very long road ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
We welcome another question from the audience.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, whatever we spoke here was about all money-related stuff.
True.
Very higher level stuff. So we as students are also, we also kind of experience the lower level stuff, like we are on social media. So small level hackers are also hacking like our photographs and all those things. So is that also something that can be escalated, or will it have to be solved in a normal level?
Right, ma'am. So I think I should have covered that much more.
Yeah.
Social media, we are there on social media platform, all of us are there. The moment you are there and you make your picture or your profile public or your details public, then there is no going back. You yourself have made it public. You have to come with an assumption that there are going to be people who are going to be misusing it. When you're taking those steps, when you're signing into the privacy statements of all these social media things most important is to being educated about it, being aware of it, because that is where you can prevent it from happening. Still, apart from that, you have locked a profile, still somebody gets an access to it. Yes, that is also happening, that also happens also. Then it definitely needs to be investigated. It needs to be investigated in the same format what I have told you, or the easiest option, going to the nearest cybercrime police station and getting it investigated. Because then it becomes an offense. Something that you have not made public is public. If you're already made public, it is a risk that we've already taken down. So I don't think that can be prevented at that level.
Any other question? I see somebody at the back row. Yeah.
Question from online, madam, by Vismay.
Okay.
Ma'am, Telegram is very active in this hacking or online scams. Why there is no news or awareness about it?
Sir, not just Telegram, everybody is active on it, and every channel is misused as well as used for the same things that I have just made a presentation about. So whether it comes to the news or not is not important. More important is we need to be aware that these things are happening, and whether you as an individual user, you take your privacy into your own hands and make your own privacy strong, or as a national level, we become aware of the threats that particular XYZ is facing to us. See, it is the balance between your right of privacy, your freedom of speech, and law enforcement. It is always going to be a balance. Never 100% I can say you give me 100% information, I can demand that. Never 100% you can say that you can say whatever you like and do whatever you like and not become the part of the law enforcement. So it is always going to be about balance. If Telegram doesn't follow, things are going to be placed into things in which we bring Telegram also online. Whether WhatsApp does it, Telegram does it, all these individual instant messaging apps are there. They have end-to-end encryption. That is something that you all understand, you know, you understand it. So nobody can read it except the WhatsApp server which is sitting in the foreign location. But with the new acts, new rules that have brought into picture, we as law enforcement agency have a right to demand information. When we are demanding information, we have to prima facie prove that there was an offense. So we all, that's why I'm saying, keep a record of your interactions. Why does it helps? We all want to delete and remove things that hurt us. But why are we requesting you to keep a record of it? Is because tomorrow it's going to help me prove that prima facie this thing happened. And hence, please block this, or hence, give me the information. So this is where it is always going to be this mutual tug of war between us as well as the providers, as well as between you people also, that balance needs to come. We need to respect that there is going to be a line. If you cross the line, you're coming into the level of that illegality where law enforcement agency will act.
Yeah, go ahead with the next question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. If someone does something good to the government and help to catch the catches constantly, will the government recruit him?
Sure. Please. You're most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are not that technologically savvy because we are traditional law enforcement people. We were recruited, trained to cock the gun and fire rather than doing all these sorts of things that you see. We are also learning, and we definitely request people, like-minded people who can help us. Now there is a very huge amount of like I told you initially, you have a profession in cybersecurity also. You can become a cybersecurity expert also. Government is also recruiting and taking people as consultants who are there working in cybersecurity, because you have your own strengths, we have our own strengths and weaknesses. Important is to merge those strengths and put up a fight.
The synergy of the police as well as the technicians is the answer. Actually, this has been an extremely fruitful session with empirical approach. Usually we have a resource person, who is more theoretical. But here we have a person with empirical data. So that has made it very wonderful. It is such a pleasant thing. We had a person of to be reckoned with, because her profile speaks that she is a doctor also, MBBS doctor, and then entering IPS. She has a vast amount of experience. That is a real contribution to nation building. Thank you, madam, for being here with us today. Thank you. Breaking up for lunch? Lunch? Yeah. Now we break up for lunch and meet again for the next session at 1:40.